Hey, welcome back to my first form Latin students. We are almost at the end of the book. Can you believe it? In fact, I'm pretty sure this is the last lesson that you're learning anything new, and there's not a lot of new stuff in this one. So you're almost there. We're almost to some unit reviews. Unfortunately, at the last class of the year, I was hoping to do some sort of review game. So if we're still not able to meet with each other, I'll see what I can do. We'll have to do something fun on the last day because you guys have worked hard. You deserve to do something fun on the last day. We are up to lesson 32 this week. So just like I always say, if you don't have them already, stop the video, pause the video, and go get your Latin textbook, your Latin workbook. Get a pen or a pencil. All right, did you do that? Great. Let's do some massive review today. The first thing I want to review is let's do all 5 declension endings. Let's do them out loud because it's hard for me to write them on the board and keep up with what I'm saying, and we can just do them out loud, okay? First declension. What gender are they almost all? Feminine, yes, except for poet and farmer and sailor. Okay, first declension endings. A, arum, is, as, is. Second declension. What gender? Masculine. Us, o, orum, is, os, is. Second declension neuter. What gender are they? Neuter. O, a, orum, is, a, is. Third declension. What gender are they? You gotta learn them. You gotta learn them. X, is, ema, s, ibus, s, ibus. Fourth declension. Gender? Masculine, except for, do you remember the 2? House and hand. Domus and manus are feminine. All the rest of them are masculine. Us, ui, u, us, ibus, us, ibus. Fifth declension. What gender? Feminine. But there's one that's masculine. Do you remember what it is? Ds, day. S, aem, a, s, arum, abus, s, abus. Good job. If you can't do those easily, quickly, if they're just not automatic for you, keep doing them every day, whether it's in your workbook page or not. Do them every day. You can just write out the endings. You could pick a noun from each declension and decline it. Notice we left third declension neuter out, but since it follows the neuter rule, nominative and accusative are the same, and the plurals are a, then you should be okay. By the way, let's say the cases. Nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative. Don't forget the cases. All right. Nominative is subject. Genitive is possession. Dative is indirect object. Accusative is direct object. Ablative is object of the preposition. Okay, so far in first form Latin, we're really only using nominative and accusative cases, subjects and direct objects. In second form Latin, we will use some of the other cases if you go ahead and do another year of Latin. All right, let's do principal parts, first conjugation. Principal parts of amo. Amo, amari, amavi, amatus. What does amo mean? I love. Amare, to love. Do you remember what we call that? the infinitive. Amavi means I loved, and amatus is a participle. It just means loved. Okay, those are the normal principal parts for a first conjugation verb, but there were 4 that are tricky. Let's do them. Do, dari, dedi, datus. Sto, stari, steti, status. Lavo, lavari, lavi, lautus. Uvo, uvari, uvi, utus. All right, that's first conjugation. Let's talk about second conjugation. Okay, monio, which means I warn, is our model verb for a normal second conjugation for its principal parts. Normal is monio, monere, monui, monitus. Remember that monere, it's very important that you remember there's a little line over the E, monere. That's what makes it second conjugation. Let's do some of the other ones. Terio. Terio terere, terui teritus. Habio. Habeo habere, habui habitus. I'm trying to remember the other ones you've learned. Hang on. I'm trying to remember the ones that aren't irregular. Debio debere, debui debitus. Taceo tacere, tacui tacitus. Prohibio prohibere, prohibui prohibitus. Okay, do you remember those? Now we're going to do a verb synopsis in a minute with the second conjugation. We're going to do all 6 tenses because you're learning the perfect system this day in this lesson. But let's go over the irregulars that you learned in lesson 31 this past week. Let's do them all together. First, there's the set of them that only have 3 principal parts, not 4. Timeo first. Timeo timere, timui. Valio. Valio valere, valui. Okay, now we have 2 of them that have an odd 4th part. The first one's docio. Docio docere, docui, doctus. Tenio tenere, tenui, tentus. Then we have 3 more that are just kind of crazy. Ardio, ardere, arsi, arsus. Ubio, ubere, usi, usus. Manio, manere, mansi, mansus. All right. If you don't know them, if they're not automatic for you yet, which they're probably not, frankly, keep practicing them. Say them every day. Say them over and over and over again, because when you do, eventually they'll become second nature, especially if you're moving on to second form Latin next year. Okay, you want to learn these well. Okay, what else did I want to review with you? Oh, you know what we haven't done in a long time? We haven't counted to 10. Unus, duo, tres, quator, quinque, sex, septum, octo, novem, decem. All right, do you remember that? If you're a little shaky on your numbers, go back and review that as well. Okay, now we are in this lesson, we're going to do our verb synopsis first and our new lesson, and then I'm going to give you your practice sentences, and we'll finish up with that. How do we normally do the perfect system? I'm going to grab my whiteboard now. Hang on. I'm going to scoot over. Oops, scooted over a little more than I meant to. All right. Remember how we normally do a verb. Actually, let's just do, oh, it's not going to hurt us. Let's do 2 verb synopses today. Yeah, 2. Let's do porto first. In all 6 tenses, we'll do a first conjugation, then we'll do a second. So what are the principal parts of porto? Porto, portare, portavi, portatus. Put it down here so I can reach easier. All right. Let's do, let's just do third person singular again, which is he, she, or it. We'll do present, imperfect, future, perfect, pluperfect, future perfect. Here we go. Let's conjugate porto in the present tense. Porto, portas, portat, portamus, portatus, portant. Portat. What does it mean? He carries. He is carrying. He does carry. Remember, you can pause the video. If you want to pause it and just do your whole synopsis and write it out and then check it as we go along, that'd be great. Or you can just pause it with each tense and then see if you can come up with it on your own. Yeah. Imperfect. Portabam, portabas, portabat, portabamus, portabatus, portabant. We have portabat. He was carrying. Future. Portabo, portabis, portabit, portabimus, portabitus, portabunt. So we have portabit. He will carry. Now, how do we find the perfect stem? The one that we use for all of these tenses. We go to the third principal part and we take away the I. So our stem is portav. Now, for the perfect tense, we have the I, isti, it endings. Let's do them. Portavi, portavisti, portavit, portavimus, portavistus, portaverunt. So we have portavit. He carried. He has carried. Or he did carry. Pluperfect. Portaveram, portaveras, portaverat, portaveramus, portaveratus, portaverant. So portaverat. He had carried. Future perfect. Portavero, portaveris, portaverit, portaverimus, portaveritus, portaverint. So we have portaverit. He will have carried. Okay, we've done many of these. This should be getting pretty easy for you, to at least to do a synopsis like this. Now, let's take it away. Let's take part of it away. Let's do a second conjugation verb. All right, let's just do monio. Monio, monere, monui, monitus. All right, let's do third person singular again. Okay, let's conjugate monio in the present tense. Monio, mones, monet, monemus, monetus, monet. The present is monet. He warns, is warning, does warn. Now, remember how we find our stem? We have to go to the infinitive, and our stem for these is M-O-N-E. Not M-O-N-E-A, it has no A. So we have For imperfect, mone bam, mone bas, mone bat, mone bamus, mone batis, mone bant. Mone bat. He was warning. Okay, future. Mone bo, mone bis, mone bit, mone bimus, mone bitis, mone bunt. Mone bit. He will warn. Now, the next part, this is your lesson. This is lesson 32. How to do the perfect system in the second conjugation. I have great news for you guys. It's exactly like the first conjugation. You do exactly the same things. To find the stem, you go to the third principal part and you take away the I. So our stem is monu. It's our stem. I went to the third principal part and I took away the I, just like we always do. And I add the same endings. For the perfect, I add the it is to it. So monui, monuisti, monuit, monuimus, monuistis, monuerant. Monuit. He warned, has warned, or did warn. Pluperfect. Monueram, monueras, monuerat, monueramus, monueratus, monuerant. Monuerat. He had warned. Future perfect. Monuero, monueris, monuerit, monuerimus, monueritus, monuerent. Monuerit. He will have warned. Okay, do you see? It's exactly the same. Let me put my whiteboard down and grab our book. You grab your student book, please, as well, and turn to page 78. Oh, I'm sorry. Oops, page 80. Okay, so at the top of page 80, you will see monio, just like we just did on the board, conjugated out in the perfect, pluperfect, and future perfect tenses. And notice that it's just the third principal part, which they have printed in black, and in blue they have printed the endings. It's the same endings you already know. You really don't have to learn anything new. You just have to know the principal parts. Now you see how important it is to learn those principal parts, though, because if you don't, you cannot conjugate the verb in all its tenses. All right. Speaking of which, we have a few more verbs in the second conjugation that we have not yet learned the principal parts for. And at the bottom of page 80, you will see those. This is, let me confirm this before I say it. Yes, this is the very last thing you are learning in this book. You are done. You are done learning the material in this book after this lesson. The next two lessons are all review, which means that if you're still kind of shaky on anything, you get a second chance and a third chance to shore it up, to make sure that you've memorized it well. So let's take a look at these crazy second conjugation verbs. By the way, you've already learned all of these verbs. You've already learned what they mean, or you were supposed to have learned what they mean. At this point, you're just learning the principal parts. Okay? The first one is gaudio. Do you remember what gaudio means? Rejoice. Remember we put on our gaudy clothes when we go to a festival, to a feast? Gaudio, gaudere. It has no third and fourth part. Gaudio, gaudere. So there's no parts to learn. You just have to learn the parts don't exist. Cavio. Do you remember what cavio means? Do you remember cave canem? Beware of the dog. So cavio means beware of or guard against. Cavio, cavere, cavi, cautus. Cavio, cavere, cavi, cautus. Sedio. Do you remember what sedio means? If you're very sedentary, you sit around a lot. You're not very active. So sedio means sit. Sedio, sedere, sedi, sessus. That's where we get the word session, like Congress is in session. It means literally they're sitting. They're sitting, doing their job and passing laws. Right. Video. I hope you remember what video means. It's super easy, right? A video. You watch it. It means I see. Video, videre, vidi, visus. That's why vision, which means seeing something, vision has an S in it. It comes from the fourth principal part of video, visus. Respondio. I'm hoping you remember respondio as well. It means answer, respond. Respondio, respondere, respondi, responsus. And the last one, movio, means move. It looks just like what it means. Movio, movere, movi, motus. This is why motor, motion, why they have a T in it, has to do with moving, right? Comes from motus. Now, here's what I advise you to do. Say them over and over and over again, and write them out over and over and over again, and say them while you're writing them out over and over and over again. And not just these, but the irregular ones you learned in lesson 31 as well. If you say them and write them out enough times, they will just naturally come to you. I promise. You can memorize anything you set your mind to memorize. It's just practice. It's just repetition. It's just repetition. Okay. Now, our saying for this week is very famous. It's 3 third principal parts in a row. Veni, I came. Vidi, I saw. Vici, I conquered. I came, I saw, I conquered. The box on page 81 tells you the story behind this, but Julius Caesar had been off on campaign, and he was supposed to send, he was general, and he was supposed to send messages back to the Senate in Rome to tell him how things were going, and he was fighting off in the east, and they like, oh, General Caesar, how's it going? And he sent back, supposedly he sent back a 3-word response. Veni, Vidi, Vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. Oh, and so now, oh, I'm sorry, but I'm forced to do the jokes. I just remembered the jokes. Yes, there are jokes. You're like groaning. You're gonna groan. No, you'll like them. Okay. Here's the Veni, Vidi, Vici jokes. So, if Veni, Vidi, Vici means I came, I saw, I conquered. What does Veni, Vidi, Veggie mean? I came, I saw, I had a salad. Are you laughing? Okay, how about this one? Veni, Vidi, Visa. I came, I saw, I went shopping. Are you laughing? I hope so. Anyway, I'm sure there's more. Maybe you will have to make up some. Those are the ones I know. All right, that is your task for this week. Learn Veni, Vidi, Vici. There's really not anything to learn about making, doing the perfect system of a second conjugation verb, because you do it just like the first conjugation verbs. Third principal part, take away the I, add the endings. The biggest challenge for this week is learning the principal parts of the verbs on the bottom of page 80. Over and over and over again. Okay, I don't care if your workbook page for that day doesn't have you writing them out, write them out anyway. Say them all anyway. Have your mom quiz you. Have a brother or sister quiz you. All right? Now, I've not forgotten. I do have some sentences for you. Let's do some practice sentences just to review, and it helps us review vocabulary. And really, this is the fun of learning a language, right? It is to actually read it. Okay. First of all, let's do some verb drill. Let's just do some general verb drill. Let me see if okay. Yeah. Habet. Habio means have. T means he, she, or it. It's present tense. He, she, or it has. Cerebimus. Sedio means sit. Bimus is future, and it's we. We will sit. How about tenebant? Teneo means hold. This is imperfect. Bomba spot is bont, means they. They were holding. Vides. Video means see. It's present tense, and S means you. You see, or you are seeing. Monebatus. Monio means worn. Bomba spot, that's imperfect. And tis means you all. You all were warning. Gaudent. Gaudio means rejoice. It's present tense, and int means they. They rejoice. Let's do some more. Eubebis. Eubio means order. Bobispit is future, and bis means you. You will order. Monet. Monio means warn. Int is they, it's present tense. They warn. Ardebitus. Ardio means burn. Bobispit, that's future. And the tis means you all. You all will burn or set on fire. Teretus. Terio means frighten. It's present tense, and tis means you all. You all frighten. Okay, one more. Timebat. Timeo means fear or be afraid of. Bomba spot, that's imperfect, and the T means he, she, or it. He, she, or it was fearing or was afraid of. Okay, how'd you do? Hopefully pretty well. If you're just methodical, you have to know what the verbs mean. But if you just examine it methodically and look at one part at a time, what's the verb mean? What tense is it? Who's doing it? Okay? Let's do some sentences I made up now. Let's do a couple with the be verb in it. Sol est altus. Okay, let's find the verb est. Sum es est, sumus estis sunt. It's the be verb, and it's present tense. He, she, or it is. What's the he, she, or it? How about the sun? The sun is probably not deep. The sun is high. Maybe it's noon. All right. Notice, sun is masculine, so the adjective that describes it has to be masculine. Sol is nominative, so the adjective that describes it has to be nominative. All right, let's try another one. How about pater erit rex? Erit. That's our ero, eris, erit, right? The be verb in the future. He, she, or it will be. Who? Father. The father will be a king. Notice they're all in the nominative case because be verbs don't take a direct object. Nothing's happening in one of these sentences. It's a linking verb. It's linking verb. It links whatever's in the predicate back to the subject. It can link an adjective back, like altus, and in which case it's a predicate adjective. It can link a noun back to the subject, in which case it's a predicate noun. All right? Let's try some more sentences. How about canis domum explorabant? Let's start with the verb. Ooh, I'm going to scoot over just a little bit more. There we go. Exploro means explore. Our ending is bomba spot. It's imperfect. And the nt means they. They were exploring. Oh, I made a mistake. Don't tell anyone. Okay. Canes. Let's do canes. Okay. Who, I just gave you the big hint. Who's doing the exploring? Well, we need something that's plural and can be a subject. Canes, dogs. The dogs were exploring. Now we need to look for a direct object and see if we have one. And sure enough, domum can be a direct object. House. The dogs were exploring the house. All right, next sentence. Renium leges bonas habet. Okay, let's start with habet. Habio means have. It's present tense, and it ends in a T. That's he, she, or it. He, she, or it has. What could be the he, she, or it? Well, it has to be singular, and it has to be a subject. So the only thing I see here that's singular and can be a subject is regnum, kingdom. The kingdom has, what does it have? Now I'm looking for a direct object, something with accusative endings, and here, these are accusative endings. Laws. The kingdom has laws. What kind of laws? Good laws. Lex is feminine, so bonas has to be, we have to use a feminine ending because adjectives always match their nouns in case and number and gender. Okay, next sentence. Senatus milites vocavit. Let's start with the verb. Voco means call. And I see the third principal part. So it's got to be one of those perfect tenses. And it's got the I, isti, it endings. So it must be perfect tense. He, she, or it called. Or he, she, or it has called. What could be the he, she, or it? Well, this is plural. But senatus is singular and it can be a subject. The Senate called. What did they call? Who did they call? This can be a direct object, a plural direct object. Soldiers. The Senate called the soldiers, or has called the soldiers. Both are fine. Bellum puellas parvas. It's a V. Terabit. Start start with the verb. Terio means frighten. Bobis bit is the future ending, and the T is he, sheer, it. He, sheer, it will frighten. Now we need to look and find out what could be the he, sheer, it. Well, these not only are they accusative endings, but they're plural. The only thing that could be a he, she, it is war. The war will frighten. Now we can bring in our direct object. The small girls. Notice it's plural. The war will frighten the small girls. Okay, I've got one more. Molti amici Mariam laudaverant. Let's start with the verb. Get that in there. Okay. Laudaverant. Laudo means praise. I see the third principal part, laudavi. So it must be one of those perfect tenses. And it's got the eram, eras, erat, eramus, eratus, erant endings. So it is pluperfect. And the nt means they. They had praised. Now, what could be the they? Is there anything that could be our subject? Well, amici. It's got a nominative plural ending. That'll work. Friends. Many friends. Had praised. And now we have a direct object. Mary. Many friends had praised Mary. How'd you do? Hopefully, well, that these are getting easier and easier for you. The more you practice, the better you will get. It works that way with so many things in life, including learning Latin. Now, let's take a look in your workbook and see if there's anything I want to make a comment on. Grab your workbook, please. And let's turn to page 165. Oh my goodness, you're on page 165 of your workbook. I don't like any of the word study and grammar questions. So you can just draw a line through those. You do not have to do those. But please write out the tense endings there in the boxes at the bottom of page 165. Okay. Page 166 is pretty normal. You shouldn't have any problem with that. Actually, the whole rest of the lesson you shouldn't have a lot of trouble with. It's stuff you've done before. Okay. So your job for this coming week is to please do the worksheet lessons, the worksheet exercises for lesson 32. Check them. Remember always, and I didn't say this at the beginning of the lecture, if you missed anything in the previous lesson and you don't know why, please call me. Email me if you want, but call me and ask me, why is this wrong? Why is what I wrote wrong? And I will tell you, okay? If you check it and you know why you got it wrong, that's fine. It's most important to me that you know why it's wrong. Not that you get everything perfectly. I don't expect you to get everything perfect, all right? If you did, then you wouldn't need me. You wouldn't need to learn it. You'd already know it, okay? So call me if you have any problems. Likewise, in this week's lesson, in lesson 32, if there's something you don't know how to do, you're not sure about it, call me. And I will be glad to grab my book and walk through it with you, all right? And your other thing you're going to do is every single day, you're going to say out loud all the principal parts of all your second conjugation verbs. And every day you're going to write out at least your new ones, if not other ones too. But I want you to say them all out loud at least once a day, if not more than once a day. The more you say them, the faster it will get cemented into your brain, and it will just be normal. You'll just know those parts. Okay? Other than that, I think that's all I have for you this week. I am ready to answer any questions. Get back to me if you need to. Otherwise, you guys have a good week. Stay safe and well, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.